As announced in one of my prior videos, I began to feel morally weird about doing YouTube and talking about a lot of these issues without doing anything physical within my community. Something often communicated to me by organizers is this idea that we can't truly engage in discourse surrounding the struggles of marginalized groups and make profit off it without actually doing something tangible to help. This isn't like a knock on slacktivism, like I genuinely do believe that some people, they just don't have the means to do like more. And you know what? There was a moment, well, like a few moments, where like I've been very vocal in expressing my discontent and uncomfortability I felt in using this platform to talk about these issues. YouTube is algorithmic. It's an inherently capitalistic platform that slowly but surely encourages you to understand the analytics and data that your audience provides and use that to your advantage to get more views, more revenue, etc. Every YouTuber knows this. Every YouTuber knows what topic is going to get the most views, what's going to get the most likes, and the ones that won't. Like, we're not stupid. I know that if I do a game video, it's going to flop. I know that if I do a Boondocks video, people are more inclined to watch it. It's just how the cookie crumbles. Anyway, this video isn't necessarily about all of that. This video is more a documentation of my attempt to counteract that. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the process involved in starting the Free Huey Food Bank initiative and the hardships involved in that. There were a lot. So before I do talk about the implementation, I want to give you a sense for what the initial idea was. In my local community, there are 4 food banks located in my area. There's 2 in Peckham, there's 1 in Bermondsey, and there's just 4 in Suffolk, to be blunt, right? This is actually relatively easy to set up because there's a number of donation sections in local stores where you're effectively allowed to put anything you want inside there, and it'll guaranteed go to one of those 4 food banks. It sounds really simple, right? Well, no, exactly. There's no guarantee that the food or resources will be donated to Peckham, as the other food banks out of the 4 might need it. There's a 2 in 4 chance it'll go there, but again, it's not guaranteed, right? But honestly, this is still fine, until I realized another thing. All the food banks around me were churches, at least all the local ones at least. And this is the case for a majority of the UK, which I had no idea. Which creates a messy situation for a myriad of reasons. One, while I have no qualms with spirituality or even the church as a concept, the rightful stigma it carries can't be ignored. LGBT groups aren't going to feel entirely comfortable going to the church. They just won't. And while I've met some people there and I don't believe they turn anyone away, the fact that we have to entertain the possibility is a concern. I can imagine some members of the LGBT community are following the channel or even support the food bank initiative, and the last thing they really want to do is, last thing I want to do, right, is alienate them. This gives me 3 different options. It's easier, but use the resources around you to donate to local food banks within the local stores. The disadvantage of all of this is, the central hub for all of my community food banks is in the church. There are food banks that aren't directly in my community, but without the religious affiliation. But it means getting food sent off is more difficult. I'd have to be registered as a company or store to do it, which isn't impossible, but the logistics of setting up something called Free Huey as a company is so counterintuitive that it kind of makes me want to throw up, to be honest, right? The third option is more remote, community oriented, but it's also really fast paced. It doesn't really allow me much prep time. It's this app called Ulio. It's a food sharing app where you can see what people in your community are requesting and provide it for them. It's all free and it's very personal. The problem with Ulio is that it's a very fast-paced app. I could put a bakery product up there and it'd be claimed in like 10 minutes. These are the options I was dealing with when focusing on the food bank initiative. What's the most effective way to go about doing this? What's the most ethical way to do this? And, you know, it was actually one of the difficulties. It was like, how do you do this in a way that's right? And something I had to realize and almost humble myself with was like, it's not going to be perfect the first time. Like, to be blunt, it just won't. So I'll tell you what I did, at least. I'll tell you what I did. Well, something I immediately ruled out was option number 2. I think the idea of having to register as a company to do something like this is dumb, so I'm not going to do it. That leaves my local food bank and Ulio. I decided to do both. While I'm not crazy about the ethics of the former or the sustainability of the latter, if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to let me know. The shopping list is publicly on their website. It gave me a firm basis for what the community needed each month. Coupling this with Ulio, I managed to narrow down a list of things that the community needed. I distinctly remember building our power, stressing the importance of baby formula and how expensive it was, and it is. Oh my god, baby formula is really expensive. We bought 2 and a few of the smaller ones. There's a bunch of canned stuff here with milk and dairy products. Like, I don't want to run you through like the whole shopping list. It'll probably be on screen or whatever, right? I was tempted to buy Cheerios and green beans because that's what Huey would do, but it felt like I was doing too much. These aren't Cheerios. I think they're here. Show me. Let's go. Wait, I'm not focused. That might be my fault. Yeah, no, that's the green beans. All right, get a few.
How many?
I don't know. Get like 5. Yeah, no, something about this feels appropriate. This plan sucks. Something else I did in between this was get in contact with some of the people from the previous video. The friend of mine that was dealing with the loss of his mother, another friend getting kicked out of their house, my dad struggling to pay for the funeral for his brother and his father. I tried to support where I could, but ultimately that's how you want to be able to help people and ideally see the tangible changes in their lives. This is another thing I want to discuss, accountability. It's hard, and I'm going to give you a very practical example, right? It's very difficult. Let's be blunt. It's very difficult. This is a receipt of me donating $52 to BSA. Nothing crazy, right? And they're a great group. You should support them. Building Our Power, you should support. Great people, what have you. There's proof that I did it because it's there. Very easy to do and document. They literally sent me a receipt. When you're helping people, like physical, real people in front of you that aren't just brands, social media is a performance. It's why you have to show off everything you do. Because what reason do I really have to believe you? It's why I post pictures of me doing this, the box filling up, designing the newsletter, even this video. Because if I don't show these things, there's no tangible way to prove what I've been doing. Even with all of that, there's no proof to say I did any of this. There's no proof I met anyone on Ulio. There's no proof that I did anything for anyone. Because outside donation receipts, there's nothing to actually prove you physically helped someone without taking a performative photo with someone, with them wearing a shirt saying, look at me, Storyteller helped me. It's one of the first things this experience taught me and how it reframed the way I saw accountability. Because no matter what you do, it's just some words and moving pictures on the internet. Sounds kind of depressing, but yeah, that's just the truth of it. So you're never truly going to be able to be held like properly accountable. And that was the part that really kind of reframed to me my perspective on some things, right? Another thing this tested was my actual organization skills. And while I'm on this, I should probably explain why I didn't accept donations and emails, people to asking that people, because I got like a few emails from people going, okay, I want to help, I'm in the area, I want to help, or like I can travel there and what have you. At least for this first round or the first few rounds, I wanted to see how everything would work. I'm new to this and I'm gonna make mistakes, and everyone who helped me as of right now was either in my immediate family or my friendship group. I didn't want a situation where someone tried to help me and I messed up and I disappointed them as a result because I didn't really know what I was doing. 2, donations, while nice, they're inconsistent. Someone could donate me 1,000 tomorrow and then there's that pressure. You got 1,000 and you only did this? Like, do you ration things out or do you work relative to what you can do every month? Patreon is easier because it helps me pace myself. Part of the reason why the newsletter is based on a tree stump is because I wanted the stump to grow continually over time. New characters, new flowers, like it's grassroots. So I wanted the visual to reflect that growth, you know, very corny, right? So corny stuff, but yeah. Which takes me to another part of the newsletter, another part of the initiative. The goal was to have each month supplied with a book and a newsletter, including a list of goals, a horoscope, articles, interviews, etc. I sadly didn't get to finish this at the time of this recording, but it should be sorted around the end of the year or so, according to someone I spoke to. Some of what was supposed to be featured was this piece written by the ever-talented Tiana. Fab Socialism, she's incredible, strongly recommend her videos, love what she did. There's a piece about gentrification in Peckham, there's another interview I'm planning with a black indie game developer, coloring pages, there's a bunch of cool stuff. The cover art was a commission by the ever-talented Junie Bar, but because of my organization skills and how they're bad, I don't know if I can fit it all within the first few packages. Right now I'm planning to take a majority of them out for the food bank attached with the book, and I'm probably going to dedicate the rest to Ulio with the baking project I'm planning with my aunt. I make this video less for documentation purposes and more to give people a sense for how difficult this stuff can be to set up. Also, this isn't like a catch-all for everyone, it's different for everyone. A majority of food banks in the UK are based in Kirches, and while there's something political to say about that, ultimately, that's a factor I have to consider that someone like, I don't know, in Ohio might not have to consider. Everything is different. This is just how I chose to do it. I don't even think this is mutual aid. It feels more like mutual relief that's been politicized. I don't have the means or finances to make my own app or have my own shelter created, right? I work 2 jobs and I manage an app in one of them. I don't even have the time to visit the food banks because when they're open, I'm always busy with work. This stuff is work and it takes forever. But I'm glad I got to experience doing this because it really does give me a brand new appreciation for the people on the ground doing way more than me. I'm gonna keep doing this. It's not perfect. I don't even think it's sustainable, but I'll do it as long as I can. Anna, do you have anything to say to the camera?
Hello camera, I hope you have fun today.
I don't know how these skateboard tutorial videos people do it. Because like, how do you not just crash
right?